What's up, guys? Oh, I bought a chainsaw. A chainsaw I bought. Look at that thing right there. Chainsaw. I don't know if you can see it on there. I've been tearing apart my backyard area, which we never use. It was 4 trees. Cleared that area out. Now, what I'm looking to do is I'm going to turn it into like an all-surface court for like basketball or hockey or tennis or anything. Ride your bikes. It's just land we never use. So this free time, I said, you know what? Let me take down these trees. Whoo! Dangerous. Don't mess around with a chainsaw. Those things are unbelievable. I'm talking taking trees down little by little, though. I do one branch at a time. I get it down, make sure the tree has a good base. Take a little bit off, take a little bit off, take a little bit off, and then you take, and you're left with like a little bit of a stump, which I think you have to have someone come to remove. However, you know me. You know that I'm not handy. I can't build things. I can't put things together, but I can demolition. I can demo better than anybody. Did you see it?
I got a video.
You did?
Through the window.
Did you see the video? Did you see the clearing?
No, I didn't. I couldn't see it.
Demo is my specialty, apparently. Now I got to clean up, which stinks, but I'm going to clean the whole area out. Right? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have a company come in and put one of those, not concrete, like one of those rubbery floors where you could do it for everything, like a basketball court type of thing. So it's going to be pretty cool. Like Jenga, Matt. It was kind of like Jenga, except, woo. Yeah, listen, chainsaw is a scary thing. Scary thing. You got to be careful with it. That's all I'm going to tell you. Got to be careful. Congratulations, on your new computer. Good luck with that thing. Computers are awesome as long as they're used correctly. Where are you going?
Riley's on a Zoom with her Girl Scout. I'm going for a walk.
Okay, with Melissa? All right. All right. Sorry, guys.
I'm gonna take the dog.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna give you guys, I'll keep you guys posted with what it looks like. Maybe even one time I'll take you out there while I chainsaw something down. And you can say, like, holy cow, that's our 5th grade teacher with a chainsaw. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. However,
Remember when your class saw you get hurt?
make sure you only do it. You don't do it until you're 18 or over or have a parent around. I can't imagine. My kids are they want to be away from the chainsaws. They're nowhere near it. Chop it down, and then the kids come in. They help clean and organize the sticks. Okay. Got a monitor. Cool. Lots of cool stuff. All right. So yesterday we got cut off. I don't know what happened. We're hoping that today my internet connection is better. I don't know if it was the weather. I have no idea what was going on. You know, we kept getting kicked off Zoom calls, everything. Just a bad day yesterday. Parental supervision, always, always, always. Good point, Julia. Okay, so I'm like out of breath. It would be amazing how tiring cutting down 4 trees is. And then answering questions on science pictures, which I'm very happy with. You guys all handed it in, especially the ones that actually colored it. Well done. You took the time to color it. I didn't take points off if you didn't. However, I like to see a little effort. I like to see a little effort. And, you know, drawing pictures is great. Adding color, everybody did it. Many of you did, though. So thank you. I enjoyed looking at the pictures. I'm actually working on a pretty cool diagram myself on it, on this new program I bought called Doodly. It's like your own whiteboard. It shows the handwriting, what you say. It's really pretty cool. I'm not good at it yet. You know, I'm a trial and error kind of guy. So I'm going to work at it this weekend, and hopefully by Monday, I got some new ways to teach you guys, which I'm excited about. Don't you dare, Leah. Don't you dare tell me it's freezing. Number 2, extra help for math on Monday. There's not going to be a math lesson. It's just we're going to go through every single question that's going to be on the test. I hope you can make it. You should be there. 9:30, log in. YouTube, we'll be together. We'll hang out. We're going to talk things through because on Tuesday morning, I want you to get up and take the test at 9:30. Take it. You'll have until about 10:30 to get it into me. Hand it into me by yourself. I help my kids with everything. I know a lot of you parents are helping. Great. I'm helping also. I want you to take this test on your own. I don't care if it's a 20. I want to see where you are, what you need. That's important. Yeah, I don't put wonder on there, Bobby. I just put reading because I don't know if they kick me off if they see book titles. So I stopped putting the names of the books on there. Skate? Kira with a skateboard. Pretty cool. Okay. Anyway, Daniel. Awesome. Okay, where am I? Oh, we were on the genetics 101. And basically what V is doing for us there in those chapters is she's explaining how August turned out the way he looked. And honestly, oddly enough, we're working on cells right now. We're doing DNA. So it's very similar. Something in his DNA and his chromosomes got out of whack. And it's because his parents both had the same gene. And it's a recessive happened. Augie happening is insane. However, it happened. But now Via and Augie also have that gene. So if they meet somebody and marry that also has that gene, the chances are also it could happen. So this is a true thing. I'm sorry if it's freezing. There's nothing I could do. You got to do the best you can. I'm live here. The clock is clicking beautifully. My internet connection is perfect. If it's freezing, it's on your end. So I apologize. Bobby, you know how more than one person has blue eyes? That's a gene. That's something you all have. So we don't have to be related to have that same gene, the blue eye gene. You know what I'm saying? Like how I got blue when I was very tall. Well, okay, here we go. We're starting. If it freezes, try to catch up. Being from somewhere, a gene like Italian? No. Italian is not a gene. Italian is where you're from. You speak. You grew up speaking that language. You don't have something in your genes that make you speak English. You know what I'm saying? However, people from Ireland or from where my family's from, you could tell because we are pale skin, but that has to do with years and years of where we're living and the amount of sun that the people in Ireland receive. So being Irish and Italian does have nothing to do with your insides. Okay? That's very good, Julia. Very good, Julia Ferrioli. Italian is not the same thing as a gene. Okay? Italian is heritage, as Julia said. Okay. The Punnett square. That's when you get older. I don't know what grade you do it in. I know I did. I don't remember where. Blue, brown, blue, brown. It kind of looks like that. And you see, I'm just doing eyes, brown, blue. And basically that will determine on this, like your mom and dad get two, your mom gets two, your dad gets two. And it basically determines what you're going to look like. You know, your eye color, your hair color, how tall you're going to be. All those things are in that square. Okay. So guys, I don't want to hear about you freezing anymore. There's nothing that can be done. It is what it is. Move on. So if yours is freezing, we apologize. We don't need to see it in the stream. Do the best we can. There's nothing I can do on my end. Okay. Because I have full internet bars. All right. We're going to get started. Here we go. This is Via talking. If I have children, there's a 1 in 2 chance that I will pass on the defective gene to them. That doesn't mean they'll look like August, but they'll carry the gene that got double dosed in August and help make him the way he is. If I marry someone who has the same defective gene, there's a 1 in 2 chance that our kids will carry the gene, but look totally normal. A 1 in 4 chance that our kids will not carry the gene at all. And a 1 in 4 chance that our kids will look like August. 1 in 4. That's dangerous odds. If August has children with someone who doesn't have a trace of the gene, there's a 100% probability that their kids will inherit the gene because they're going to inherit it from August. But a 0% chance that their kids will have a double dose of it, like August, which means they'll carry the gene no matter what, but they could look totally normal. If he marries someone who has the gene, their kids will have the same odds as my kids. So 1 in 4 is the most odds you could get if both parents have the gene. This only explains the part of August that's explainable. There's that other part of his genetic makeup that's not inherited, but just incredibly bad luck. Countless doctors have drawn little tic-tac-toe grids for my parents over the years to try to explain the genetic lottery to them. Geneticists use the Punnett squares to determine inheritance, recessive and dominant genes, probabilities, and chance. But for all they know, there's more they don't know. They could try to forecast the odds, but they can't guarantee them. They use terms like germline mosaicism, chromosome rearrangement, or delayed mutation to explain why their science is not an exact science. I actually like how doctors talk. I like the sound of science. I like how words you don't understand explain things you can understand. There are countless people under words like germline mosaicism, chromosome rearrangement, or delayed mutation. Countless babies who'll never be born like mine. Out with the old. Miranda and Ella blasted off. They attached themselves to a new crowd destined for high school glory and popularity. After a week of painful lunches where all they would do was talk about people that didn't interest me, I decided to make a clean break for it. They asked me no questions and I told no lies. We just went our separate ways. Excuse me, guys. Okay. I didn't even mind after a while. I stopped going to lunch for about a week, though, to make the transition easier, to avoid the fake, oh, shoot, there's no room for you at that table, Olivia. It was easier just to go to the library and read. I finished War and Peace in October. It was amazing. People think it's such a hard read, but it's really just a soap opera with lots of characters. People falling in love, fighting for love, dying for love. I want to be in love like that someday. I want my... Though we'd gone to different middle schools. Eleanor had always been a really smart girl, a little bit of a crybaby back then, but nice. I never realized how funny she was. You know, not laugh out loud funny like my dad is, but full of great quips. And she never knew how lighthearted I could be. Eleanor, I guess, had always been under the impression that I was very serious. And as it turns out, she never liked Miranda or Ella. She thought they were stuck up. I gained entry through Eleanor to the smart kids table at lunch. It was a large group than I'd accustomed to hanging out with, and a more diverse group. It included Eleanor's boyfriend, Kevin, who would definitely become class president someday, a few techie guys and girls like Eleanor who were members of the yearbook committee and the debate club, and a quiet guy named Justin, who had small round glasses and played the violin, and who I had an instant crush on. So she's in ninth grade. She has a crush on this guy, Justin, that she's just meeting, who plays the violin. When I'd see Miranda and Ella, who were now hanging out with the super popular set, we'd say, hey, what's up? And move on. Occasionally, Miranda would ask how Augie was doing and say, tell him I say hello. This I never did. Not to spite Miranda, but because August was in his own world these days. There were times at home that we never even crossed paths. So now it's like mid-October. No, it's right by Halloween now. You remember what happens on Halloween. Do you remember what happened to Via on Halloween that morning? He was supposed to wear the Boba Fett costume, but Via was having a meltdown. And then the dad took Augie to school and everything was rearranged. That's how it is. Guys, if you show up late, you don't have to tell me you're late. We see you coming in. You can keep your comments about hello and that. Just focus on the book only. Because remember, it takes my attention and I lose my focus. Okay. Regroup. Grant had died the night before Halloween. Not this Halloween, a couple Halloweens ago. Since then, even though it's been 4 years, this has always been a sad time of year for me. For Mom, too, though she doesn't always say it. Instead, she immerses herself in getting August's costume ready, since we all know Halloween is his favorite time of year. Guys, Dean, we cannot go back to what we talked about already. We're reading the book. We're going through it. You can catch up with it on the read when we get back. Right now, we have to follow through. So let's focus on where we are now. This year was no different. August really wanted to be a Star Wars character called Boba Fett. So Mom looked for a Boba Fett costume in August's size, which strangely enough was out of stock everywhere. She went to every online store, found a few on eBay that were going for an outrageous amount, and finally ended up buying a Jango Fett costume that she then converted into a Boba Fett costume by painting it green. I would say in all, she must have spent 2 weeks working on the stupid costume. And no, I won't mention the fact that Mom has never made any of my costumes because it really has no bearing on anything at all. The morning of Halloween, I woke up thinking about Grant, which made me really sad and weepy. Dad kept telling me to hurry up and get dressed, which just stressed me out even more. And suddenly, I started to cry. I just wanted to stay home. So Dad took August to school that morning, and Mom said I could stay home. And the two of us cried together for a while. One thing I know for sure, however much I miss Grant, Mom must have missed her more. All those times August was clinging to life after surgery, all those rush trips to the ER, Grant had always been there for Mom. It felt good to cry with Mom. For both of us, at some point, Mom had no idea Mom had the idea of our watching The Ghost and Mrs. Muir together, which was one of our all-time favorite black and white movies. I agreed. That was a great idea. I think I probably would have used the weeping session as an opportunity to tell Mom everything that was going on at school with Miranda and Ella. But just as we were sitting down in front of the DVD player, the phone rang. It was the nurse from school, from Augie's school, calling to tell Mom that August had a stomach ache and should be picked up. So much for the old movies and the mother-daughter bonding. Mom picked August up, and that moment he came home, he went straight to the bathroom and threw up. Then he went to his bed and pulled the covers over his head. Mom took his temperature, brought him some hot tea, and assumed the August mom role again. Via's mom, who had come out for a little while, was put away. I understood, though, August was in bad shape. Neither one of us asked him why he had worn his bleeding Scream costume to school instead of the Boba Fett costume Mom had made for him. If it annoyed Mom to see the costume she worked on for 2 weeks tossed on the floor, unused, she didn't show it. So we know why August is home. That's when he heard Jack Will talking trash about him. And Via finally gets her time with her mother, and it doesn't work out again. So Via's left to suppress her feelings again. Not easy for Via. Trick or treat. August said he wasn't feeling well enough to go trick-or-treating later in the afternoon, which was sad for him because I know how much he loved to trick-or-treat, especially after it got dark outside. Even though I was well beyond the trick-or-treating stage myself, I usually threw on some mask or other to accompany him up and down the blocks, watching him knocking on people's doors, giddy with excitement. I knew it was the one night a year when he could truly be like every other kid. No one knew he was different under that mask. To August, that must have felt absolutely amazing. At 7 o'clock that night, I knocked on his door. "Hey," I said. "Hey," he said back. He wasn't using his PlayStation or reading a comic book. He was just lying in his bed looking at the ceiling. Daisy, as always, was next to him on the bed, her head draped over his legs. The bleeding Scream costume was crumpled up on the floor next to the Boba Fett costume. "How's your stomach?" I said, sitting next to him on the bed. "I'm still nauseous." "You sure you're not up for Halloween parade?" "Positive." This surprised me. Usually August was such a trooper about his medical issues, whether it was skateboarding a few days after a surgery or sipping food through a straw when his mouth was practically bolted shut. This was a kid who's gotten more shots taken, more medicines, put up with more procedures by the age of 10 than most people would have to put up with in 10 lifetimes. And he was suffering from a little stomach ache? You want to tell me what's up? I said, sounding a bit like Mom. No. Is it school? Yes. Teachers, schoolwork, or friends? Excuse me. Got like tree branch in my eye, I think. He didn't answer. Did someone say something? I asked. People always say something, he answered bitterly. I could tell he was close to crying. Tell me what happened, I said. And he told me what happened. He had overheard some very mean things some boys were saying about him. He didn't care about what the other boys had said. He expected that, but he was hurt that one of the boys was his best friend, Jack Will. I remembered his mentioning Jack a couple of times over the past few months. I remembered Mom and Dad saying he seemed like a really nice kid, saying they were glad August had already made a friend like that. Sometimes kids are stupid, I said softly, holding his hand. I'm sure he didn't mean it. Then why would he say it? He's been pretending to be my friend all along. Tushman probably bribed him with good grades or something. I bet he was like, hey, Jack, if you make friends with the freak, you don't have to take any tests this year. You know that's not true. And don't call yourself a freak. Whatever. I wish I'd never gone to school in the first place. But I thought you were liking it. I hate it. He was angry all of a sudden, punching his pillow. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. He was shrieking at the top of his lungs. I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. He was hurt. He's mad. I let him have a few more minutes of fury. Daisy started licking the tears off his face. Come on, Augie, I said, patting his back gently. Why don't you put on your Jango Fett costume and... It's Boba Fett costume. Why does everyone mix that up? Put on your Boba Fett costume, I said, trying to stay calm. I put my arm around his shoulder. Let's go to the parade, okay? If I go to the parade, Mom will think I'm feeling better and make me go to school tomorrow. Mom would never make you go to school, I answered. Come on, Augie. Let's just go. It'll be fun, I promise. And I'll let you have all my candy. He didn't argue. He got out of bed and slowly started pulling on his Boba Fett costume. I helped him adjust the straps and tighten the belt. And by the time he put on his helmet, I could tell he was feeling better. Good moment for Via. Good moment for Via. Still here is blaming Julian for Jack Will's behavior. We know Julian's nasty, but at least we know he's nasty. We didn't know Jack Will was nasty, and unfortunately we found out the backstabbing way, which is 10 times worse. You'd much rather look at your enemy in the face than get hit from behind. So I understand why Bobby's saying what he's saying, and Aaliyah is saying what she's saying, that Jack is the worst. I don't know if Bobby said that. Bobby said that also. No, Jack is the worst. Okay, so... Oh, no, we got to read more. I told Isabella's reading ahead without us. I stopped her at a certain point. So I don't want to go past that point that I told her to read to. Time to think. Okay, so now Via's life has caught up to August's life for what we've read so far, right? So now they're both at the same point in the story. August played up the stomachache the next day, so he wouldn't have to go to school. I admit I felt a little bad for Mom, who was genuinely concerned that he had a stomach bug. But I promised August I wouldn't tell her about the incident in school. By Sunday, he was still determined not to go back to school. What are you planning on telling Mom and Dad? I asked him when he told me this. They said I could quit whenever I wanted to. He said he was still focused on his comic book he was reading. But you've never been that kind of kid who quits things, I said truthfully. That's not like you. I'm quitting. You're going to have to tell Mom and Dad why. I pointed out, pulling the comic book out of his hands so he'd have to look at me while we were talking. Then Mom will call the school and everyone will know about it. Will Jack get in trouble? I would think so. Good. I have to admit, August was surprising me more and more. He pulled another comic book off his shelf and started leafing through it. Augie, I said, are you really going to let a couple of stupid kids keep you from going back to school? I know you've been enjoying it. Don't give them that power over you. Don't give them the satisfaction. They have no idea I even heard them, he explained. No, I know, but Leah, it's okay. I know what I'm doing. I've made up my mind. But this is crazy, Augie, I said emphatically, pulling the comic book away from him too. You have to go back to school. Everyone hates school sometimes. I hate school sometimes. I hate my friends sometimes. That's just life, Augie. You want to be treated normally, right? This is normal. We all have to go to school sometimes, despite the fact that we've had bad days, okay? Do people go out of their way to avoid touching you, Via? He answered, which left me momentarily without an answer. Yeah, right. That's what I thought. So don't compare your bad days at school to mine, okay? Okay, that's fair, I said. But it's not a contest about whose days suck the most, Augie. The point is, we all have to put up with the bad days. Now, unless you want to be treated like a baby the rest of your life or like a kid with special needs, you just have to suck it up and go. He didn't say anything, but I think the last bit was getting to him. You don't have to say a word to those kids, I continued. August, actually, it's so cool that you know what they said, but they don't know. You know what they said, you know? What the heck? You know what I mean? You don't have to talk to them ever again if you don't want to. And they'll never know why. See? Or you could pretend to be friends with them, but deep down inside, you know you're not. Is that how you are with Miranda? He said. No, I answered quickly, defensively. I never faked my feelings for Miranda. So why are you saying I should? I'm not. I'm just saying you shouldn't let those little jerks get to you. That's all. Like Miranda got to you? Why do you keep bringing Miranda up? I yelled impatiently. I'm trying to talk to you about your friends. Please keep mine out of it. You're not even friends with her anymore. What does that have to do with what we're talking about? The way August was looking at me reminded me of a doll's face. He was just staring at me blankly with his half-closed doll eyes. You know, she called the other day, he said finally. What? I was stunned. And you didn't tell me? She wasn't calling you. He answered, pulling both comic books out of my hands. She was calling me. Just to say hi, to see how I was doing. She didn't even know I was going to a real school now. I can't believe you hadn't told her. She said the two of you don't hang out as much anymore, but she wanted me to know she'd always loved me like a big sister. Double stunned, stung, flabbergasted. No words formed in my mouth. Why didn't you tell me? I said firmly, finally. I don't know, he shrugged, opening the first comic book again. Well, I'm telling Mom about Jack Will if you stop going to school, I answered. Tushman will probably call you into school and make Jack and those other kids apologize to you in front of everyone, and everyone will treat you like a kid who should be going to school for kids with special needs. Is that what you want? Because that's what's going to happen. Otherwise, just go back to school and act like nothing happened. Or if you want to confront Jack about it, fine. But either way, if you... Fine, he interrupted. Fine what? Fine, I'll go. He yelled, not loudly. Just stop talking about it already. Can I please go back to reading my books now? Fine, I answered, turning to leave his room. I thought of something. Did Miranda say anything else about me? He looked up from the comic book and looked right into my eyes. She said to tell you she misses you. I nodded. Thanks, I said casually, too embarrassed to let him see how happy that made me feel. Awesome chapters today. I hope that it didn't freeze too much about it. You guys got the emotion of the day. What I will tell you is on Monday, guess where we start? On Monday, we get to find out what Summer is all about. We get to find out why Summer sat at his table on day one, what was going through her mind. We get to find out the kind of person that Summer is. Let's hope it's the kind of person we think she is. I don't know what's going on here. The secrets of summer are coming. I would love to start over, but I promise kids that aren't going to be able to be here today that I would stop at that point. And it's a good place to stop because once we start reading summer, you're never going to want me to stop. Never. You're gonna want to read this book the entire night tonight, and we can't have that. We gotta let you enjoy the weekend. All right. So Monday, lots going on Monday. We have extra help, which I expect every single one of you to be at. There's no excuse for you not to be at extra help. And then we have a great Monday read, which I'll try to read double on Monday. We'll try to get through all of Summer's pages on Monday. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. Love you.